I really, the days of Obama, or like the hippie days, compared to now. I learned for the days of Obama, and even when the pathway debacle, from 2008 to 2013, during the graduate events, even that shit, I learned for the days of Obama. The Obama days are like the hippie movement compared to now, because I liked him from 2004 when I saw him interviewed on CNN and the DNC in '04. I saw him saying, and I'm like, that's gonna be our president one day, and so here's what I think. When I look at it like this, and then come in 2007, when I saw him starting to being in the primaries, I'm like, he's our president. He's our president, and I learned for the days of Obama days, or like the hippie movement or like the 60s, compared to now. Where a black man can be in the Oval Office. A black man can be in the Oval Office. And a black man can be a president. That was a monumental feat. That's probably the biggest feat of the century. The best president, for breaking a race barrier in a setting. Now, I wasn't registered to vote for him in '08. But in 2012, I voted for Gary Johnson for the right reason, because Obama started doing what Bush did. And he did like 10 times more bombings in the Middle East. He bombed Libya, he started Syria, he started, I think, Yemen, and he started other things. And he started stuff with other shit. But, what he did, Obama days are like, and the right wingers under Obama are like basically the stuff now, those guys are like amateur hour compared to now. Those guys are like amateur hour, because Obama, I learned for the days of the days of when this stuff was going on. Because of the right reasons. Because here's a guy that was African American, grew up in Hawaii, and then moved to Indonesia, and then moved to Illinois, and started being in the colleges, and became president, and became senator and president. It was one of the most monumental feats for African American to be president of the United States. It would be like if Michael Jordan in a suit. I yearned for those days. I remember, when I was basically, those times were like the hippie movement. Those times were like the rock and roll generation compared to nowadays in politics. Politics now is politics then, under Obama, would be like, it'll be like comparing, I don't know, whatchamacallit, it'll be like comparing, I don't know, let's say John Cena's wrestling to, I don't know, basically a person, like, it'll be like comparing John Cena's wrestling, okay, to, Nick Mondo's wrestling. Or it'd be like comparing, I don't know, probably stuff like, those types of things, or it'd be like comparing, like, those types of things. It'd be like, and when you look at how, like, the history books are gonna look at, like, because I really believe Israel, when you look at the people who, behind the scenes, who really hated Obama? Who hates wealthy, successful black people? Every wealthy, successful black person has been, like, they basically eat for breakfast. Or, you could say that because Bill Cosby tried to buy NBC, and look what happened to him. Look what happened to him with the revelations. They conveniently came out. Look at what happened to every successful black person throughout human history that tries to go against the system. That tries to go against the system. MLK. Psst. Malcolm X. Psst. Medgar Evers. Psst. Fred Hampton. Psst. You know what I mean? Tupac. Psst. You know what I mean? Biggie Smalls. You know what I mean? Every black person, every successful black person that goes against the system. This guy so happened to run for office and win and become the president of the most powerful nation on the face of the planet. The United States of America. And that is a monumental feat. We could go back to Michael Jackson. He was about Palestine. They basically say they basically try to, slander and try to use his Neverland Ranch and his children's stuff against him in negative light and turn his Neverland Ranch into an abomination. You see what I mean? So when you look at Obama, because I think that Obama basically, like history will say, how did we go from Obama? Because I supported him. I was a supporter from him. I supported him in 2004. I supported him in 2004. I've been an Obama bot since 2004. And I've been I grew up on Trump. So I've been an Obama person, and I've been a Trump person. I've supported both of them. I supported both people. But history would say, how did we go from a person that was like that to like this? It's like so obvious. It's so motherfucking obvious that Captain Obvious can be Captain Obvious. Until next time, I make a deal signing off.